Hello everyone and welcome to my Scholomance Academy card review in regards to Arena. I'm going to be going through every card and say what I think about them through Arena. I'm going to be going through each class. So I'm going to go through the dual class cards twice and talk about how I think they'll reflect on the class that I'm going through at that. So let's begin. We're just going to go through alphabetical order through the classes. So we start with Demon Hunter. The first one, Vile Fiend Trainer. 4 mana, 5/4, Outcast Summon 2/1/1 Demons. So, not the worst thing if you don't get the Outcast. If you do get the Outcast, it's a nice bonus. It's a lot of stats, a lot of tempo. It's a good card for Blood Herald. 5 mana, 1/1. Whenever a friendly minion dies while this is in your hand, gain +1/+1. If this is in your hand at the start of the game, I think it'll be really good for. It's a Hunter card. You have a lot of cheap minions. You have a lot of tokens in Demon Hunter, and a lot of them die. So this can get really big relatively quickly. I think this is good for Demon Hunter. Double jump, 1 mana, draw an Outcast card from your deck. Maybe you can make it work. I would say it's probably below average for Arena. But, if you can make it so that your Outcast cards are high impact, maybe. But I don't think they're impact enough to put in a card. Bell Guardians, summon 3 1/2 demons with taunt, cost 1 less whenever a friendly minion dies. I don't know if this needs to be in your hand. If it does need to be in your hand, I don't think it's good. If it doesn't need to be in your hand, then I think it is really good. Because you're going to have a lot of minions that die. It doesn't say it, but there's also a lot of text on the card, so it's hard to know. Assuming it doesn't need to be in your hand, I think it's really powerful. Because like you can get it to cost 0 relatively easily. Throughout an arena game, if it doesn't need to be. If it doesn't need to be in your hand, I could even see it. Maybe no, it won't get nerfed because the effect isn't strong enough. But yeah, no, I think it's good. Not Corridor Creeper good, but Corridor Creeper had to be in your hand, so I don't know. If it needs to be in your hand, I think the card is enough. Demonic Companion. Summon a random Demonic Companion. So they're like mini version. My understanding is that they're like divided by 2 versions of Animal Companion. So 2/2 taunt, 1/2 like a 1/2 stats Leok, and a 2/1 stats Huffer. So it's just a solid card. Solid 1-drop. True Aim Crescent, a 1 mana 1/4. After your hero attacks a minion, your minions attack it too. If you can control it, like the minions attack from left to right, the card is already insane. And I think if you can control it, even more insane. It's even better in Demon Hunter than Hunter. For Arena, just controlling the early game. It's so strong for doing that. For durability, card is buff. Luckily, it's an epic, so we won't see it. Ancient Voidhound. 9 mana 10/10. At the end of your turn, steal 1 attack and health from all enemy minions. Imagine you're facing a board of 1/1s and then you drop this and then it just grows from. Like this against Shuma would be hilarious. The Shuma becomes a 0/6 and you take all of the 1. It's really slow. It's probably not that great, but it'll be hilarious, and like it's a powerful card. It might actually grow to be big enough that it's hard to do. But well, generally just piles of stats that cost more usually aren't that great. But like this card will have some really funny moments, and everyone will lose to this at some. It'll it's a strong card. It's just like I said, it doesn't piles of stats for expensive cards tends to not work out great. That might be big enough that it works. So there is a soul fragment mechanic for Warlock and Demon Hunter where you put soul fragments in your deck. Soul fragments are 0 mana spells that when you draw them you heal 2. I don't think you'll be able to consistently get the soul fragment cards for Arena. So anything that relies on having a soul fragment in your deck will be unlikely to you'll be unlikely to reap the benefits. The benefits are actually pretty sick with all of the soul fragment cards, but it's really hard to get the benefit. So I think this is way expensive. Soul Cheer, deal 3 damage to a minion, shuffle 2 soul fragments in your deck. I mean, so like this card's fine. But and then so this is an example of a card that I think will be difficult. The benefit of Shard, Shatter, Mystic, Battlecry, destroy a soul fragment deck to deal 3 damage to all other. So really powerful effect, but like you need to shuffle the fragments into your deck, and it's not like there's a ton of common cards you'll be able to draft with the fragment. Like another example, Soul Shard, Lapidary. Destroy a soul fragment in your deck to give your hero +5 attack this. Really powerful effect. The 5 mana 5/5. It would so this card, like, it's probably fine, but it's just gonna, I think it'll be hard to consistently have soul shards in your deck. This weapon is okay. Marrow Slicer, Battlecry, shuffle 2 fragments in your deck. And like the 2 heal is not irrelevant from the soul shards. It depends, like if we can get these cards like very consistently with the new expansion bonus, maybe the soul fragment cards will be better. I just don't think there are enough. Like, cause you're gonna want like 6 cards probably at least that would shuffle soul fragment deck, and I don't think that's ever happened. But yeah, this is good. Shuffle 2 soul fragment deck. Very strong. Mage Hunter, 3 mana 2/3 rush. Whenever this attacks a minion, silence it. The silence is rare, but it's also really good. A 2 mana or 3 mana 2/3 with rush I think is okay. Like, so this will be really good at like clearing off like border, or just like a small, like when there's a small minion that your opponent will like a priest will put apothecary on it really early. They'll just say, I think this card is bonkers for both arenas. Good. I think it'll be really powerful. Star Student, Selena, Outcast. 4 mana 4/3 Outcast. Look at 3 cards in your opponent's hand. Shuffle 1 of them into their deck. One of the most powerful effects in the game. Basically making your opponent card a card. Like it goes into their deck. You lose 1/1 stats for it. but you also get to, like, you get the information of what's in their hand, and you put a card back in their deck. I think this card is insane. Crazy power. Higher skill cap though. Philosophy, copy the lowest cost and outcast give both +1, so both the lowest cost copy. Sounds not great. Probably too slow, but Glide. One of the scariest cards in the game. I think this is awesome for Demon Hunter. Shuffle your hand into your deck. Like, if you have a low okay, I'll just say what it is. Shuffle your hand into your deck. Draw 4 cards. Outcast, your opponent does the same. So, like, let's say it's late game, and as a Demon Hunter, and you have a low curve, you're just, like, playing all of your cards, and you've run out, and your opponent who's a priest has like 9 cards in their hand, and you're like, I can't possibly win this. You play Glide, you shuffle your hand into your deck, which might be 0 or 1 cards, and then you draw 4, and your opponent has to shuffle 9 cards into their deck, and then they draw 4 cards. So it evens out the footing. They have all these, like, reactive cards, probably, that they've been saving, that they now can't play. This card is incredibly powerful. I don't know how low the curve of your deck will have to be for it to be amazing. Because, like, so this is only for an aggressive deck. I don't think this would be good in a... But the effect is one of the most powerful. Hunter, or Ace Hunter Kreen. 3 mana, 2/4. Your other characters are immune. Absolutely busted. Good. Death Speaker was a really good card. This is like Death Speaker, but AoE for every minion, every turn. Well, it's only while attacking, but Death Speaker was basically attacking. What the heck? Literally Death Speaker stats, but for all of your minions and your hero. A Cycle of Hatred, deal 3 damage to all minions. Summon a 3/3 spirit for every minion killed. So if this clears the board, if your opponent has a lot of smoke, this will just... Basically, like, anything that has removal plus development is really strong. So like Abyssal Enforcer and the Netherwing Drake, I think it's called. Those things are, it's like it's unfair, and it's so hard to come back once your opponent, like, those are the swingiest cards, something that develops and but yeah, I can't get over this card. One of the best cards in the history of the game. Okay. Cycle of Hatred, yeah. Incredibly powerful. And that's it for Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter didn't have any Spellburst cards. I haven't even talked about the new mechanic yet. Or the new key. Okay, moving on to Druid. I think Demon Hunter, if you get the class cards, it'll be good. But that's been an issue so far in Arena, but we'll see. Partner assignment. 1 mana, add a random 2 cost and 3 costs to your hand. So it's like it gives you curve for the next 2 turns if you play it on turn 1. So it's probably decent. Yeah, I think this card's slightly. It's at least average. I think it's worth taking. Just like it gives you the 2 minions, and on turn 1 it'll be good. Gibberling, Spellburst. So I haven't even said what Spellburst is. So Spellburst is a new keyword. It's when the minion is in play. There's a one-time effect you can trigger when you cast a spell. So you play this, then you cast a spell, the Spellburst will. So Spellburst, summon a Gibberling. So 1 mana, 1/1, Spellburst, summon. I think that's below average. Unless... Wait a minute. But the Gibberling you summon will also have Spellburst. I probably should have known that this would happen. But so basically every time you cast a spell, it keeps coming. So that makes this, I mean, it's hard to have a lot of spells in Arena, but there is a card that is a common. Nature Studies, discover a spell, your next one costs 1 less. This card could get out of control really quickly, because you can... That card can discover itself. So like, so you do Spellburst and you get a second Gibberling. Oh, but it's only 1 at a time. You can't like get 2 at a time because Spellburst is a 1 time. But yeah. The card's probably below average. But it'll be fun. Which I think is good for Hearthstone. Hey Jason. Twilight Runner, 5 mana, 5/4 stealth. Whenever this attacks, draw 2 cards. That's really strong because it's stealth, so you're almost always gonna get the attack off at some point. So it's like Ancient of Lore, but costs 2 less. That's actually insane. Like old school Ancient Lore. Features pet, 5 mana, 4/5 taunt, death rattle, summon a random 3-cost beat. It's sticky. Any effect is pretty good, so it's a good card. I would say it's above average. Guardian Animals. Summon 2 beasts that cost 5 or less from your deck. Rush. So cards like this, it's too hard to build around them in Arena. So, and it's too expensive, so it's just bad. This card is... I think it's too hard to play to be good, but it's going to destroy me a few times, and it's going to be so frustrating. Survival of the Fittest. 10 mana spell. Give +4/+4 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. So it's incredibly slow, but if you have the board, you win the game. Because like even if they clear it, your refill from your hand will beat them down. Or your refill from... This deck is so good. It's so strong. I think it might be strong enough that it's worth drafting. The effect is so powerful that if you're even close to even, you just win. Like it's a win more card, but it's like you win so much more. I think it goes on to being good. Just because it's so strong. Even though it's a win more card. Okay. Forest Warden Omu. 6 mana, 5/4 spellburst, refresh your mana crystals. It's really strong. It's slow, but I think it's a really powerful. Like, and so I think Like, you don't even need to build around it, because it's basic, like, if you have a spell, it's basically just, like, a 0 mana 5/4, which is really powerful. I need to stop doing that. Alright, Speaker Gindra. Rush, Wind Fury, Spell Burst, gain attack and health equal to the spell's cost. Let's see. So if you play this with like a 3-cost spell, it would be a 6/7 with Rush and Wind Fury, or yeah, a 6-mana 4/7. It's really good. Like, you need the spell, but I think it's really strong. And again, Spell Burst is the new mechanic, new keyword. That is a one-time effect that triggers the next time a spell is cast when the minion play. Runic Carvings, 6-mana spell, choose one, summon 4 2/2 Treant Totems, or overload 2 to summon them with Rush. So it can be removal for 8 mana, which will be pretty. But 6 mana, summon 4 2/2s is a pretty good card. And you can use it for removal when you're desperate. Adorable Infestation, give a mana +1/+1, summon a 1/1 cub, add a cub to your hand. Like, cute. It's this card's good. It's a lot of it's basically +2/+2, and you get a 1/1 in your hand for 1 mana. Good. A Groundskeeper, 4 mana 4/5 taunt, which is good on its own. Battle Cry, if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, restore 5 health. Very strong card. Lightning Bloom, gain 2 mana crystals this turn only. So this is Innervate, but it overloads you for 2. Innervate wasn't good when it didn't overload you for 2. It was okay, but it was below average for them. This card is not for Arena. Nature Studies, discover a spell, your next one costs 1 less. This card's really good and flexible. I like it. And it's awesome for all the Spellburst cards. A Shando Wildclaw. Choose one, give beast in your deck +1/+1, or transform into a copy of it. I think just the give beast in your deck +1/+1 makes this. I don't think you're transforming into a friendly beast very often, but I think it's just a good card. The Druid seems solid. I actually think every class is good cards though, so maybe Druid isn't getting cards, because everything just seems real. Moving on to Hunter. Wolper Ting, or Walper. I don't even know how. I can't say this card. I apologize. 1 mana 1/1 beast, Battlecry, summon a copy of this. So if you buff it while in your hand, it gets those stats on the board. So it's strictly better than Alley Cat, because if you can make this like a 5/5 in your hand, it's a 1 mana 5/5 and a 5/5. So if you can make it work, it's really. Alley Cat is good, so it's like an Alley Cat with upside. So, good card. Karen Studies, discover a Death Rattle minion. Cost 1 less. So all of these studies cards, I think they're all. I don't think this one is as good as like this spread, but it's okay. Overwhelm. Deal 2 damage to a minion. Deal 1 more damage for each control. I mean, just deal 2 damage to a minion. It's okay, and it's got the upside of doing. Prolosk Bark Stripper. 4 mana 3/3 spell burst, destroy a random enemy. Or 4 mana 3/5 spell burst, destroy a. Oh my god, that's insane. I thought it was a 3/3. This thing is insane. What is with hunters and being able to destroy random enemy? Busted, but it's an epic. Thank god. Pet, good in Druid, also good in Hunter. Bloated Python, 3 mana 1/2. Summon a hapless. Death Rattle, summon a hapless. So I think it's strong. It's backloaded, but silence is pretty rare. So I think like you just trade it off and you get 4/4. I think it's really good. A Blood Herald. I don't think this is as good in Hunter. The 5 mana 1/1 that grows when a friendly minion dies while it's in your hand. Because you're not drawing as many cards in Hunter, you're not really sacrificing as many tokens in Hunter. Like, you don't always get access to trap and stuff, so I don't think this is a Demonic Companion. Just a good trap. A True Aim Crescent, I do think this is very strong in Hunter. As much as it was in Hunter. 1 mana 1 for after your hero attack. Attack it too. Just controlling the board. Being able to get minion damage in. Good in Hunter. Guardian Animals, as I said in Druid, it's just not. You have to build your deck around it too much to get value. You're summoning like 1 cost beat. Professor Slate, your spells are poisonous. This is busted if you can get a rapid fire. If you can't get rapid fire, it's not as good, but it's still pretty good. It's a 3 mana 3/4 spider tank, which is basically the best stat you can get. With a incredibly powerful effect. Yeah. Rapid fire. Even just Arcane Shot. Even that like Overwhelm card. Like giving that poisonous is busted. Just busted. Adorable Infestation is good in Hunter, just like it is Druid. Ace Hunter Crane. Death Speaker on steroids. Death Speaker was like just below a premium card, and this might be the strongest card in this set. Busted. And Shendu Wild Claw. I think just the 3 mana give beast in deck. +1/+1 is good enough. It's powerful. I can't get over this card. It's so busted. So I think Hunter got some okay tools. The Bloated Python is good. Maybe they didn't get enough tools though. Because like the commons they got aren't. We'll see. Mage. Trick Totem. So Totem of Yogg-Saron. At the end of your turn, cast a random spell that costs 3 or less. So I don't actually think this is a strong effect. But it will have some cool moments for sure. Like, I don't even know if you want other minions on the board when you play this, because you can get like buffs and stuff. Yeah, Totem of Yogg-Saron is. I don't think it's good. We'll see. Cram Session, 2 mana, draw 1 card, improved by spell damage. I actually think this is decent. Because I think there's a decent amount of cards that give you spell damage. So I think this might be draftable. We'll see. Like, pairing this with Arcane Explorer is like 2 mana, draw 3 cards, which is insane. The amount of value you could potentially get from this, I think it's good enough. Like, I wouldn't say it's like a premium card or anything, but I think building decks around the spell damage and the card could be good. Firebrand. This card is going to... I think this card could, like, define the meta. Like, it's a common mage card. It's a 3-mana 3/4 spell burst. Deal 4 damage randomly split to all enemy minions. So it's so it's like Flame Waker, but it has one more attack. It only triggers once, but it's like it triggers twice. I think that this card is insane. Absolutely insane. It can only hit minions. Like it's like it's just the board is yours. One of the strongest cards of this set, easily. Probably the strongest common card of this set. What is it called? Firebrand, yeah. Wormweaver, 5-mana 3/6 spellburst, summon 2 1/3 mana worms. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, like mana worms might be relevant again. The stats are below average, but like you get the mana worms, and the mana worms can get growing. You can snowball a little. I think it's a good card. Primordial Studies. Discover a spell damage minion. Your next one costs 1 less. Yeah, like it work like spell damage works with a lot of in Mage. I think this is really good. Brain Freeze, 1 mana spell, freeze a minion combo, also deal 3 damage to it. I think that's good. Good enough. I guess it's actually maybe below average, because like just freezing a minion isn't that great. And combo might be a little difficult to trigger. So it's good with the spell burst. Like, it's a really good card to play the same turn as a spell burst minion. So because you play the spell burst minion and then you play this card to do 3 damage to a minion and potentially freeze it and get the effect. So it depends on how common you can get the spell burst minions, but this is one of the best spells to pair with a spell burst minion. So, a Potion of Illusion, 4 mana spell, rogue mage. Add 1/1 copies of your minions to your hand. They cost 1. I think this can... I think this will be terrible on rogue, but I think in mage, if you have a control mage, you could make this work. It'll be slow. It's like Echo of Medivh, but slightly better probably, which was always difficult to pull off. But so like you can have a Twin Tyrant on the board and you can play this and get like the Twin Tyrant effect, where it's a 1/1 minion, but you can get powerful battle cries. So it's a super late game card, but I think it can be okay. Jandis, Bharav, 5 mana 2/1. Battle cry, summon 2 random 5 cost minions. Secretly pick one that dies when it takes damage. I think this is powerful. Like, they don't know which one you pick. Hopefully you don't get, like, Jandis Bharav off it, so you have a 5 mana 2/1 out there, but I think this card is good. It's fun. If you get a 1 health one, then you obviously choose that one dies when it takes damage. But I like it. And it's a strong card. Lap Partner, 1 mana 1/3 spell damage +1. It's a good card. It has a lot of synergy with Mage. Really good. Ross Frost Whisper, 5 mana 3/6 at the end of your turn. Deal 1 damage to all minions, improved by spell damage. So what was... There was a Warlock card that was super premium. It was a 5 mana 4/5 that had this effect. Except this does it to all enemies. So it does it to the enemy hero, and it doesn't do it to your minions. So it's really powerful. Despicable Dreadlord, I think it was. And this is just stronger than Despicable Dreadlord. So, yeah. Luckily, it's a legendary. Mizaki Master Duelist. After you cast the spell, gain +1 spell damage. 5 mana, 3/8. Yeah, that seems pretty good in Mage, because it'll be pretty hard to kill right away with the 8 health stat line. Yeah, a good card. Combustion. Man, I wish this wasn't an if this wasn't an epic, Mage would just be tier S in Arena. If you could get this card consistently. Deal 4 damage to any minion, any excess damages both neighbors. With all the spell damage, holy smokes. But yeah, the excess damage that deals damage to both neighbors, you can't play around anything. You can't play around Cone of Cold and Rolling Fireball and Combustion at the same time. It would just be, it would be a, like, you can't play a 1/1 in general. I really like this card. It's really powerful, but it's an epic. Evolving missiles. Shoot 3 missiles at random minions that transform them into minions that cost 1 less. I think this card is just fun. I don't think it's good. But we'll see. It's a fun card. I don't think it's very good. They do only hit minions, though. So maybe it, like if there's only 1 minion on the board, it probably, I think it would make it so it like devolves it 3 times. So maybe it's okay. Because it could be like a 1-mana polymorph then if they only have 1 minion. Because if you're making a minion cost 3 less, that's pretty sick. So yeah, maybe this card is good. Yeah, maybe it's a card with a high skill cap, actually. Whereas I was thinking it was the original, the opposite before. I think this card is good now. Holy smoke. Wand Thief, it's good. Discover a Mage spell combo. Good card. I think Mage is in a good spot. I'm excited for it. Firebrand will break the game. Moving on to Paladin. And we start off with Blessing of Authority. 5 mana. Give a minion +8/+8. It can't attack heroes this turn. But who cares? You just gave a minion... Like, even if you cast this on a Silverhand Recruit, you have a 9/9 on the board that your opponent has to deal with. Removal isn't that common for that. Like, you give a minion +8/+8. Yeah, a 7 mana 9/9, worst case scenario, is still good. Assuming you get the value trade with it, the card is busted. You basically won't be able to allow Paladin to have a minion on board after turn 5. It's only a rare too. That's terrifying. Imagine if it hits this thing. Judicious Junior. 6 mana 4/9 lifesteal. Like, this thing's gonna be a pain in the butt, because it's gonna probably take like 2 to 3 minion hits. It heals for at least 8, probably. Paladin might be good. Again, Commencement I think is terrible. It's just summon a minion from your deck, give it Divine Shield and Taunt. It's too expensive. You can't build your deck around it. A Wave of Apathy, 1 mana, set attack of all enemy minions to 1 until your next turn. That's it. I think that's actually pretty good. Lets you value trade. Like Eldor for a turn. Shield of Honor. Give a damage minion +3 attack and Divine Shield. I think that's... So it's hard to... It's harder in Paladin. So this card is probably better in Warrior. Because it's harder to have a damage minion in Paladin. But I still think... I think it's powerful enough that it's good. Lord Bharav. 3 mana, 3/2. Battle Cry, set all other minions health to 1. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. So it's like Equality with a body, but it's cheaper. It's really good. You basically will only be doing it for the Battle Cry in Arena. But it's still an incredibly powerful Battle Cry. Oh. Really strong card. High Abyss Alara. I don't know if I said that word right. 4 mana, 3/6. Spellburst, cast a spell from your deck. Targets this if possible. I think in Paladin this is good because most of your spells will be buffs, probably. I think in Priest, like Shadow Word Pain might be an issue, but yeah, no, in Paladin I think this card can be good. The stats are good. I like it. It's a fun card. Argent Braggart. 2 mana, 1/1 Battle Cry, gain attack and health to match the highest on the battlefield. I think this is a really strong card. Like, it's just as strong as whatever the strongest minion on the board is. So that can't be bad. And it's like, so let's say there's a Twin Tyrant and like a Core Hound on the board. This becomes a 2 mana 9/10. Not that that's going to happen very often, but it'll match the Core Hound's attack and the Twin Tyrant's health. So it like gets to pick and choose the attack and health. So I think this is insane. Devout Pupil. 6 mana minion. Divine Shield Taunt. So it's a Sunwalker. But it costs 1 less for each spell you've cast on a friendly minion in this game. So insane. It's 4 Sunwalker, which was already okay. Gift of Luminance. Give a minion Divine Shield, then summon a 1/1 copy of it. Mana. I don't think this is as good in Paladin. I think this will be busted. I think it's solid in Paladin. You can find decent targets for it probably, but Paladin just doesn't have like the busted death rattles that other cards have, so I would say it's below average in Paladin. Herald, the tenured 8 mana 3/12 rush. Whenever this attacks a minion, set the defender's attack and health to 3, so it just kills anything it attacks and it gets 4 attack speed, kind of. I mean, it'll get traded into. It's really strong though. It's a 3/9 Battle Cry, destroy a minion. Very strong. Ceremonial Mull, 3 mana, 2/2 weapon, spellburst, summon a student with taunt and stats equal to the spell's cost. So, like, a 3 mana 2/2 weapon's pretty weak, but the spellburst effect, I think in Paladin will be good, because Paladin has cards like the Blessing of Authority, so this would be like +8/+8, plus a 5-mana, or a 5/5 with the spellburst effect. Or just like Blessing of Kings, you get +4/+4 and a 4/4. And you can use this to protect the minions on board. So I think this card is insane. Like, you just keep one of the durability around. It's an epic, so we won't have to deal with that much. But this card would be bust. Like, it would just ruin everything if you could draft it reliably. The card is insane. First day of school, add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand. I think that's good. It's like drafting a premium 1-cost minion. So, like, you get 2 random 1-cost minions. Odds are one of them's gonna be good, and the other one is a 1-cost minion. So I think it's just a goody 2 shields for Scarlet Crusader. So it's a 3 mana 4/2 Divine Shield, spellburst, gain Divine Shield. So it loses Divine Shield, and then you cast a spell, and it gets Divine Shield back. So absolutely busted. Insane. Probably, yeah. Insane early tempo. Alright, I think Paladin could be pretty strong. My screen is freezing. Hey, we're back. I have too many tabs open. What it comes down to. Going on the Priest. Initiation, 6 mana spell. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If it kills it, summon a new copy. So Holy Water was like an okay card. And this is better than Holy Water, I think. Even though it's more expensive, it summons the minion. I think this is insanely powerful. And will be incredibly frustrating. Because I don't play Priest much. Maybe I'll need to, because this card is insane. Wave of Apathy, I think this card's fine. Wrong. Like, you can, yeah, it's just a good card. Runic Studies, discover a dragon, your next one costs 1 less. Very powerful. Like, yeah, discover a dragon is good. Like, you can get what do you call it? The skeletal dragon, because you're a priest. Or you can just get Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, and it makes it your next one you play 1 cheaper. I think it's a really good card. Mind Render, Elucia. I hate that this card exists. 2 mana 1/3, Battlecry. Swap hands and decks with your opponent until your next. I hate this card. Like, it feels so bad when Priest beats you with it's good with your own good cards, and then this is going to take your hand with all your cards in it. And then they get to play your good card and give you back your... I mean, you get their hand too, but they're in control. I don't know. It might not even be that good, because it's so situational and the stats are bad. But I don't like this card. It's so intrusive to how you're playing the game. I'm not a fan of it existing, but I think it's strong. A raised dead, deal 3 damage to your hero, return 2 friendly minions that died this game to you. This is pretty good. It's really good value, which is what Priest usually... 3 damage to your hero usually isn't a big deal in Priest. In Warlock, I think this card's terrible, but in Priest, I like it. A Power Word Feast. 2 mana, give a minion +2/+2, restore it to full health at the end of the turn. This card is insane. you buff a minion, you value trade, and then it heals to full health after you trade at the end of it. Crazy powerful card for 2 mana. A high Abyss Allura. I think this might be dangerous because priests tend to have removal in their deck. So I don't think this is really playable in priest. Cast a spell for me. Priests have too much removal. This card would be terrible in priest. Devout Pupil costs 1 less for each spell you've cast on a friendly minion this game. I think priest might have fewer spells to cast on friendly minions, but maybe not. This might be just as good. Gift of Luminance. I think this card is really strong in priest. Priest is strong death rattles like Convincing Infiltrator. And just casting this on reborn minions as well is also really strong. I guess I didn't think of this on the but still, I think this will be slightly more powerful. Maybe not as I think constructed it'll be better. A Cabal Acolyte. 4 mana, 2/6 taunt, spellburst, gain control of a random enemy minion with 2 attack or less. Very powerful effect. Not the best stats line, but stealing a minion is really strong. If you can control which one it steals, it's nice. You can combine let's say he only has 1 minion, you can play a card like Wave of Apathy with the Cabal Acolyte, and you can steal, like, if they only have 1 minion, it's mind control for 5 mana. Card count. Granted, this is an epic, but very powerful. Flesh Giant costs 1 less for each time your hero's health changed during your... So it's when it changes during our turn, which makes this not as good. Priest, I would say. Because, like, you heal yourself, but you don't heal yourself up. So I think this is okay, but not spectacular. Sorry. I think this will be insane for a lot, though. Disciplinarian Gambling. 4 mana, 3/6. After you play a minion, destroy it and summon a 4/4 failed student. Pretty strong card. Don't have a ton of chickens usually in priest, but I mean, if you get this early, you can build around it. I think it's an okay card. And if you have death rattles or reborn minions, you can trigger those right away. Or just not reborn minions, just death rattle minions. So could be interesting. Brittle Bone Destroyer, 4 mana, 3/3. If your hero's health changed this turn, destroy minions. So it's like Siphon Soul with a 3/3 body. So really powerful. Frazzled Freshman, 1 mana, 1/4. The highest stat line without a downside a 1 cost minion has ever had. Pretty good. Yeah. Every class seems to be getting good cards. I actually don't know what's gonna end up on top. Moving on to Rogue, I'm really excited. We have a new secret, so it's not only 3 secrets, chat. Very exciting. Plagiarize. At the end of your opponent's turn, add copies of the cards they played to your hand. So this is like a late game refill secret, which is just awesome. I love this secret. It's common, incredibly powerful. I really like it. Self-Sharpening Sword, 3 mana, 1/4 weapon. After your hero attacks, gain +1 attack. So the 1/4, then it's a 2/3, then it's a 3/2, then it's a 4/1. Really powerful card. Because, like, the first one is just like your dagger, but after that, basically every attack is really strong. Opura Toxin Blade. 3 mana, 3/3. Your weapon has +2 attack. Really powerful effect. Like, you imagine just daggering on turn 2, then playing this on turn 3. It's a constant effect, it's not a battle cry, so this has to live. But, like, being able to attack for 3 damage to kill a minion on turn 3 is really strong. Really powerful card. Shifty Sophomore, 4 mana, 4/4. Stealth Spellburst, add a combo card to your hand. So, like a 4 mana, 4/4 draw card would be good. Combo cards tend to be. So, and it'll probably survive since it has stealth. So, good card. Cutting Class, 5 mana. It depends how hard buffing. But like those other cards were pretty good in it. And Rogue already has ways to buff cards. It's 5 mana, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less per attack of your weapon. I think this card will be because of like the Sharpening Blade. Like once it gets to 4 attack, this would only cost 1. Then if you could, like, you can even get this to 0 maybe. So I think this could be a good card. But you need to pair it with other cards that I think you will have access. Coerce. 3 mana, destroy a damaged minion. Combo, destroy any minion. Absolutely insane. Combo, destroy any minion for 3 damage. And you can still kill a minion. Don't have. Oh. Imagine playing Assassin. Brain Freeze. 1 mana, freeze a minion, combo, deal 3 damage to it. I don't think this is very good in Rogue, but like I said, it's a good spell to use for spell burst. So maybe you can. But I mean, you would probably rather just have backstab. A Potion of Illusion. I don't think this is playable. A Jandis Bharav. I think this is okay in Rogue. It's decent tempo. Secret Passage is really interesting. I think it's like, so you replace your hand with 5 cards from your deck, and then you swap them back at the end of your turn. So I think this is like Sprint, but you can play the cards that turn and you don't keep them later. So I think it's a better, but I call it like Sprint because it's a late game card. It only costs 1 mana, but you only play this in the late game. It'll be a higher skill cap card, but it's really powerful. But yeah, it's like an upgraded Sprint. Dr. Krastanov, 5 mana, 4/4 rush. Whenever this attacks, give your weapon +1/+1. It's basically Captain Greenskin, which is okay, but significantly better because it can work more than once, and it well, assuming they have a minion, it'll work. But yeah, so like a 5 mana 4/4 with rush is just okay, and buffs your weapon. Insane. Infiltrator Lillian, 4 mana. A legendary, 4 mana, 4/2 stealth, death rattle, summon a 4/2 Forsaken Lillian that attacks a random. So it could go face. So yeah, it's basically a 4 mana, 4/2 death rattle, deal 4 damage. I think that's really. Because even if it goes face, you get a 4 mana. You get a 4/2. Oh, it's really powerful. Steel Dancer, 4 mana, 4/4 Battlecry, summon a random minion with cost equal to your weapon attack. Even if you only have a 1 attack weapon, I think this isn't hard. And if you have anything past 1 attack, I think it's a really card. Wand Thief. Mage spells are good. 1 mana 1/2s are okay. This card is just good. Like, Babbling Book was a good card. This lets you discover the spell. So yeah. I like Rogue. I'm really excited for Rogue. Moving on to Shaman. Rune Dagger. 2 mana 1/3 weapon. After your hero attacks, gain +1 spell damage this turn. There's a lot of spell damage cards. There's a lot of spells. I think this is a really powerful weapon. It's a common. This card might be what makes Shaman relevant in Arena. It's yeah, I think this card might carry Shaman. If you can get like 2 or 3 of these in a deck, I think this card will carry. Molten Blast, deal 3 damage, summon that many 1/1 elementals. So if you have spell damage, I think this is good. If you don't, I think it's bad. But we'll see how hard it is to get spell damage. You can get spell damage 25% of the time with your hero power. So Tidal Wave, Lifesteal, deal 3 damage to all minions. I don't play a lot of Shaman, so I hate that this card exists. Because it's so powerful. It's like Reno plus Flame Strike mashed into one. Terrifying. Trick Totem, I don't think this is good. I mean, random spells when you have spell damage are okay. Alright, we'll see. We'll see on this card. I think it just looks terrible. Primordial Studies. Discover a spell damage minion. Your next one costs 1 less. I think it's okay. I don't think it's as good in Shaman as Mage, but I might be wrong. Beaker Gindra. The 3 mana 1/4 Rush Wind Fury, gain attack and health equals cost. I don't think this is as good in Shaman as it is Druid. Okay. Just because there aren't as many spells that like just target a minion or something. I mean, I guess if you use this with it's really strong, but then you have to attack and I don't know. It's a good card. I just don't think it's as good in Shaman. Instructor Fireheart. 3 mana 3/3. Battlecry. Discover a spell that costs 1 or more. If you play it this turn, repeat the effect. So it's like you play it and then you get a spell and then you play it and then you discover another spell and you just get to keep chaining it. Imagine if you had like a Sorcerer's Apprentice out when you did this, but it would be pretty hard to do. So, but yeah, it has to cost at least 1, so no infinite mutates, unfortunately. But this card is really strong. Good. Like early game, you just discover a spell. Late game, you get the cycle potentially. Really good. Runic Carvings. Summon 4 2/2 Treant Totems Overload. It's just good stats and use for removal. Groundskeeper, 4 mana 4/5, good stats. Taunt, solid, and you can also heal for 5 if you spell. Brass Frost Whisper was good in Mage, also good in one of the stronger cards of the set. Totem Goliath. 5 mana 4/5, Death Rattle, summon all 4 basic totems, overload 2. I don't actually think this is great. I think it's 7 mana to do this seems awfully expensive. Even though you get all 4 basic totems, I think 7 mana for this is too much. Devolving Missiles. So I soured on this at first, but I've actually come around. I think it's really powerful. Lightning Bloom, way too expensive. Maybe if it was Overload 1 would be good, but gain 2 mana crystals, Overload 2 it's too much of a downside. A Diligent Note Taker, Spellburst, return the spell to your hand. It's a really powerful card. It's a really good value, and it's just a Crocolisk. So I actually think the Rune Dagger could be enough to carry Sean to being a relevant class. I think that's the only card that has a super powerful effect, though. Like, everything else, I think, runs off that. But because this is a common, I think this will be the card that decides. How often you get this will decide how good Shaman is as a class. Moving on to Warlock. Demonic Studies, 1 mana spell, discover a demon. Your next one costs 1 less. It's okay. It's average. I don't think it's Raise Dead, 0 mana spell, deal 3 damage to your hero, return 2 friendly minions that died this game to your hand. I think this is really bad in Warlock. Like, Warlock, your health is a resource. I don't think you can afford to use a card to deal 3 damage to yourself to get minions back that died that are probably cheap minions that you were using so that you didn't die this game. I don't like Raised Dead. Sociologist, Alicia. I don't think the soul fragments will be consistent enough. So I think this card is bad. I don't think you'll be able to get cards like Soul Shear, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to minions, level 2 soul fragments. I just don't think it'll be consistent. This is a really good card though. Ghoul Spirits, 3 mana, deal 2 damage to all minions, shuffle 2 soul fragments back. I mean, what was it? It was like Explosive Potion or something for Mage. That was a good card. This is good. And like the soul fragments aren't nothing. They still heal you for 2 when you draw them. Shadowlight Scholar, Battlecry, destroy a soul fragment in your deck to deal 3 damage. It has good enough stats that you can take it. Oh, Volcanic Potion was the thing I was thinking. So it's a spider tank with upside, so I think it's fine. But I don't think that the soul fragments will be a consistent mechanic for Arena. Like this one, Void Drinker, 5 mana, 4/5, Taunt Battlecry, destroy a soul fragment to gain +3/+3. So it could be a 5 mana, 7/8 Taunt, which would be insane. I just don't see soul fragments being a thing that you can just always have in your deck. Like in Constructed you will. I just don't see it happening. And this is an epic. So like, yeah, I just don't think soul fragments will be a thing in Arena, sadly. Spirit Jailer, the 1 mana 1/3 shuffle 2 soul fragment. I'm just not big on soul fragments. I don't think they'll be a thing for Arena. I hope I'm wrong, because it's a fun mechanic. Archwitch Willow, 9 mana 7/7 Battlecry, summon a random in your hand and deck. I think it's good. Like, from your hand and deck, that's a lot of stuff. It's a really slow card though, so probably not great. I think it's fun enough. Philosophy, summon or copy the lowest cost demon in your hand, outcast, give both +1/+1. I think this is just too slow, and it's an epic, so it won't be relevant. Flesh Giant, 8 mana, 8/8, costs 1 less for each time your hero's health changes during your turns. With the soul fragments and tapping, like the soul fragments won't be consistent, but you'll get some, and every time they heal you for 2, this goes down in cost by 1. So I think this is an epic, sadly, but I think this card will be insane for Warlocks. Disciplinarian Gambling. I think this card is very strong for Warlocks because you tend to have cheaper minions that in the deck, and turning those cheaper minions to 4/4 probably good. Okay. Boneweb Egg. 2 mana, 0/2 Death Rattle, summon 2 2/1 spiders. If you discard this, trigger it. Rattle. We didn't get any new discard cards, so I don't think this is very... I mean, just the egg with the Death Rattle is okay. This discard effect will never be relevant in Arena. A Brittle Bone Destroyer, Battlecry for your hero's health change this turn, destroy minion. A 6 mana Siphon Soul, but with a 3/3 body instead of healing 3. It's like, so you hero power and play this. It's strong. So I'm actually a little worried for Warlock. They got some good cards, but like the Flesh Giant isn't epic. And I don't think that the Soul Fragment stuff will be a thing. I don't think Warlock will be great. Moving on to the last class, Warrior. Athletic Studies. Discover a rush minion, your next one costs 1 less. Probably a pretty good card. You can discover like Blood Boil Brute. Rush minions tend to be pretty good in Arena, so being able to discover one and then cost 1 are probably an okay thing. Assuming you don't have a Gnarg. Information, 2 mana spell, add 2 random minions to your hand. I'd say this is below average, but playable. Cutting Class, 5 mana spell, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less per attack of your weapon. So pair this with an this might make Aconite Reaper very relevant because you play Aconite Reaper and then you draw 2 cards. Pretty busted, like 2 cards for 0 mana, and then you just like fill your deck with these and have like 2 Arcanite Reapers, and you just cycle through everything. I think it could happen. I think it could be a thing. Commencement is not a thing. Summon a random minion from your deck, give it Divine Shield and Taunt. Terrible. Aurorus, this is a really strong destroy damage minion. Combo destroy any minion. Crazy powerful card. A Shield of Honor, I think this is really good in Warrior. Give a damage minion +3 attack and Divine Shield. It's like Cruel Taskmaster plus this. +5 attack. Divine. Busted. Absolutely busted. Reaper's Scythe. Spell Burst, or 4 mana 4/2 weapon Spell Burst. The weapon has Cleave. Absolutely insane. Warrior is getting some tools. I think Warrior might be something. Lord Bharav. Battlecry, set health of all other minions to 1. Death Rattle, deal 1 to all minions. I think this is good. Just like, so you get equality. The Death Rattle is irrelevant. Just look at the Battlecry. And I think it's good. I think it might be... I don't know, I think it's close. It's removal. So we'll see. Dr. Krastanov. 5 mana, 4/4 rush whenever this attacks, give your weapon +1/+1. Really powerful. It's a legendary. But it's like an upgraded green skin, which was already okay. Imagine playing Dr. Krasanov after you play Playmaker, which is an insane Playmaker. 3 mana, 4/3 after you play a minion, summon a copy with 1 health remaining. So imagine playing Playmaker and then Restless Mummy. The Playmaker, you play it, if it doesn't die, prepare for Shock and Awe. This card, thank God it's an epic, because otherwise Warrior would just be insane. I think this card will be really good for Constructed. Ceremonial Maul, 3 mana 2/2 spellburst, summon a student with taunt with stats equal to the spell's cost. I don't think this is as good in Warrior. We'll see, but Warrior doesn't really have spells that you can kind of just throw out there. They tend to more be like like the expensive spells tend to be like mass removal. So I don't think this will be as good. Maybe if you get a Ceremonial Maul, you can work in the commencement thing, but I think this is a lot better in Paladin Warrior. It's still a really good card though. Steel Dancer, 4 mana 4/4 Battlecry, summon a random minion with cost equal to your weapon's attack. I think this is insanely strong. Warrior, it's an epic though, so great. Troublemaker, 8 mana 6/8, so slightly below in stats. At the end of your turn, summon 2 3/3 Ruffians that attack random enemies. Insane. So many stats. 8 mana 12 14. 8 mana 12 14. We used to complain about an 8 mana 4/10. 8 mana 12 14. Rattlegore. 9 mana 9/9. Death Rattle, resummon this with -1/-1. Imagine trying to kill, like, imagine actually killing that, like, what the fuck? Sorry, man, I shouldn't. Now I'm gonna have to put a maturity filter on this. The heck? Yeah, just transform it. So, just for clarity, 9 mana 9/9. You kill it, it comes back as an 8/8. You kill it, it comes back as a 7/7. You kill it, it comes back as a 6/6. You kill it, it comes back as a 5/5. You kill it, it comes back as a 4/4. You kill it, it comes back as a 3/3. You kill it, it comes back as a 2/2. You kill it, it comes back as a 1/1. You kill it, and then it finally dies. So what was that? 35-35 in stats? Or is it 45-45? I think it's 45-45 in stats if you want to kill it the normal way. 45-45, chat. Yeah, 45-45. So 9 plus 1, 8 plus 2, 7 plus 3. 45-45 in stats. So either you ignore it or you transform it. There is no killing this. It's so big, chat. It's so stupid big. Okay. I think Warrior is going to be pretty strong. The cards and the rarities lined up well. Moving over to the neutrals. Intrepid Initiate. 1 mana 1/2 spellburst, gain 2 attack. So, like, the spellburst only happens once. I think this is below average, but okay. And maybe it's average. Because, like, imagine you play this and then you coin out another 1-drop. It's pretty strong. And maybe it's good. It's just like this. I'll say it's average. Because I don't know. Like, it's very deck dependent. Sneaky Delinquent. 2 mana 3/1. Stealth Death Rattle. And a 3/1 Ghost with Stealth to your hand. Yeah, that just seems good. This is really good. Like, there was like a Worgen. There was a Worgen that was like this, and it was pretty solid, and then this kills. Like, this is just 2 of them. So yeah, no, this is good. A Wand Maker. 2 mana, 2/2 Battlecry. Add a 1-cost spell from your class to your hand. I think it's average. Wait, does the ghost cost 1? No, the ghost costs 2. Yeah, Twisted Worgen was okay. That was the card. And that's like Twisted Worgen. Death Rattle, add a Twisted Worgen to you. Enchanted Cauldron. 3 mana, 1/6. Spell burst, cast a random spell of the same cost. So it only happens once. I think this card is terrible. It's at like Cauldron of Yogg-Saron, whatever. Like, you cast a fireball and then you could just like polymorph this. And it only happens once. I think this is terrible. Yeah. It's just like, I would say like 10 mana spells are probably the best, because I don't think any 10 mana spells destroy stuff, but it's too hard to pair with that. Divine Rager, 4 mana, 5/1 Divine Shield. I actually think this is probably the best Rager to date. Pretty decent. Similar to Cursed Disciple, I believe it was called. Or 4 mana, 5/1 Death Rattle, summon a 5/1. Pretty good. Fishy Flyer, 4 mana, 4/3 Rush Death Rattle, add a 4/3 Ghost with Rush to your hand. So there seems to be a decent amount of these cards that just like, they're decent, and then they add a second copy to your hand. So yeah, this is a good card. It's like neutral removal, and then they comes back to your hand with another one. Really good. Yeah, I think it's just below great card. But I could see it being a great card. Ogremancer. 5 mana, 3/7. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, summon a 2/2 skeleton with taunt. I think this is below average. Yeah. The stats are okay. The stats are okay, and I guess it could be difficult to remove. You know, I would say in like any other expansion, this would be a great card. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe this is a good card. A 5 mana 3/7 is decent stats, and it is a decent effect. Maybe this is a good card. Okay, I've changed my mind. This is a good card. Smug Senior. 6 mana 5/7 taunt Death Rattle, add a 5/7 Ghost with taunt to your hand. Card's fine. Actually, it's probably better than fine. No, it's fine. It's just fine. It'll be super annoying. Like, you have to... These cards are so much value, these ghosts. Yeah, no, okay. Man. I keep seeing these cards not thinking they're great, but they're actually pretty good. Like, this card is really... It's a great card. It is. Because, like, Violet Warden was good. And this is, like, better than Violet Warden. And then you get a second Violet Warden. This card is really good. Lake Thresher. 5 mana, 4/6 Cleave. Cleave is one of the more underrated. This card is great. Cleave is so hard to play around. I really like this card. Desk Imp, I don't know why they printed this. The 0 mana 1/1 demon. I guess summoning random demons was too powerful, so they had to like make it. Crimson Hothead, 4 mana, 3/6 spell burst, gain +1 attack and taunt. Good card. Plague, Proto Drake, 8 mana, 8/8 Death Rattle, summon a random 7-cost minion. So this is like Violet Worm. Less consistent, but potentially even more powerful. But yeah, this is the new Violet Worm. It depends how slow the meta is. If the meta is slow enough, this card is insane. If it's not slow enough, it's not as insane, but yeah, it could be really good. Robe of Protection. 3 mana, 2/4. Your minions can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Insane! This card is bonkers and oh my gosh. Stupid strong. Warning, Robes of Protection are intended for targeted effects only and are not an effective defense against Flame Strike, Twisty Nether, or other AoE effects. I think it's really good. Like, so it's not your other minions, it's your minions. So it affects itself as well. Which is a thing to note. It's all of your minion. It's a really strong effect. It's just your minion. Not your adjacent minions, it's not your other minions, it's all minions. Absolutely insane. Animated Broomstick, 1 mana, 1/1. Rush, Battlecry, give your other minions rush. I could see that being good. I mean, it's like Goblin Lackey, except it can work on everything. That's pretty insane. Yeah, this card's insane. Tour Guide, 1 mana, 1/1. Battlecry, your next hero power costs 0. I don't think this is very good. The stats are too bad. Like, making your hero power cost 1 less, who cares? Steward of Scrolls, 5 mana, 4/4, spell damage +1, Battlecry, discover a spell. So in classes like Mage, this is good. In other classes, probably not as good. I think it's good in Mage. I don't know what other classes. Maybe Demon Hunter, because Demon Hunter doesn't have a lot of spells. Definitely good in Mage, though. Maybe Priest. It's not good in all, like, in Warrior, this wouldn't be a great card. But it's good in classes with good spells. Basically, Azure Drake, it's a good card. But, like, I don't think it's great in Warrior. Voracious Reader, 2 mana, 1/3. At the end of your turn, draw until you have 3 cards. This is so good for aggro decks. It's Jeeves, but it's one-sided. This card is insane. Like, yeah. Aggro decks rejoice, because this card lets you play the game. Like, Jeeves was a good card to build a deck around. And this is Jeeves, but better. It's half the cost. It's so good. This card, like, Demon Hunter only having access to neutral cards, you get like, oh my, this card is so strong. I can't believe it's not an epic. This card is going to, I think it could, like, completely warp the constructed meta. I think it's that good. Like, this is, it's aggro Dexaros. 2 mana, 2/3. Mana Feeder, and there. I'm sorry. I was still just focused on the Voracious Reach. This card is busted. It's like meta warping for constructed and really good in arena. Okay, so Mana Feeder, Panthera. 2 mana, 2/3 Battlecry. If you use your hero power this turn, draw a card. I think it's good. Like, as Rogue, you just, like, hero power and play this turn 4, and it's fine. Compared to everything else, it's probably below average, this set, in all honesty. But I think this is fine. Sorceress Substitute. 6 mana, 6/6 Battlecry. If you have spell damage, summon a copy of this. So, in, like, Shaman with the weapon and Mage, I think this card is insane. It's like a cheaper elemental or animated avalanche. In other classes, it won't be as good. But this card is insane in Shaman and Mage. And it's a common, so I'm excited for me. Educated Elec. 3 mana, 3/4. Whenever a spell is played, this minion remembers it, because an elephant never forgets. Death Rattle, shuffle the spells into your deck. I think it's good. Headmaster Alabaster. 7 mana, 6/8. Whenever your opponent draws a card, add a copy to your hand. That costs 1. I think this card is insane. Like, it's a 7 mana, 6/8. Add a card to your hand that costs 1 from your opponent's deck. At worst, that's the situation. This thing could live more than 1 turn. This card is insane, I think. So, like, on its own, it's no Rattlegore. But I think it's pretty crazy. Pretty nuts. Vectus. 5 mana, 4/4. Battlecry. Summon 2 1/1 whelps. Each gains a death rattle from your minions that died this game. I think this is just, like, it's a 5 mana, 6/6 with upside. I think it's really good. Great card. Fear of Sapience. At the start of your 1 mana, 0/4 weapon. At the start of your turn, look at your top card. You can put it on the bottom of your deck and lose 1 durability. So I think in non-weapon classes, it's like a slightly worse tracking. But it increases your deck consistency so much. So in any class, or maybe it's like a slower version of tracking. But you can do it 4 times. In non-weapon classes, this is insane. In weapon classes, I think it's below average. I don't think this is good for weapon classes. But I think it's great for non... Like, it basically guarantees you'll have curve. And something to play each turn for the non-weapon classes. If you were to play this on turn 1. Which I think is incredibly valuable. So yeah, for non-weapon classes, I think this is like maybe not instant take, but it's definitely an above average legendary. I really like it. Lore Keeper Polkelt. Battle Cry. 4 mana, 4/5, Battle Cry. Reorder your deck from highest cost card to lowest cost card. I think this card is not for Arena. Because it's not a curve play. And so you like in Arena you want it's really nice to be able to play 2 cards in a turn, and basically once you play this, you're only gonna play 1 card per turn. Like it's okay in the late game, but I don't know if you really want to put a 4 mana 4/5 in your deck that's only good in the late game. So yeah, it's a Yeti that's only good in the late game. I don't think that's something that's great to put in your deck. Like I think there'll be situations when it's really strong, but I would say it's below average. I don't know. I don't think it's as. I think the hype is way too high on this card. I don't think it's as good as people. A Penflinger, 1 mana, 1/1, Battle Cry, deal 1 damage, spell burst, return this to your. I mean, I guess it's Elven Archer, but with upside. I think this is okay, actually. You could actually get some value from this. I'm not reading the flavor text of a sorting algorithm. Yeah, I think this is actually okay in classes like Mage and Rogue. It'd be fun. But it's not a great card, but it's strictly better than Elven Archer. Headmaster Kel'thuzad. So apparently Kel'thuzad was a human at some point. I don't pay attention. I don't know any WoW lore. I played Warcraft 3. 5 mana, 4/6. Spell burst. If the spell destroys any minions, summon them. So I don't think this is very good because you have to. So it could be good with like a card like Shadow Word Death, but like if you want it to work with a spell like Flame Strike, this has to survive a turn. And most of the cards that will destroy minions cost a lot. So I think like pairing this with AoEs are pretty difficult. Like you could try and pairing it with Lightning Storm and stuff. It's hard because of how expensive it is. How expensive the AoEs are. And that this has to survive the AoE. So I don't think it's as good as people think. I do think it's good, but slightly worse than the hype. I do think it's insane with Shadow Word Death though. So, but other than that, I'm not as sold on it. I don't think it's as good with the AoE as people think. Because it's only the 1 spell, and most of the AoEs would have to survive a turn. Onyx Mage Scribe. 6 mana, 4/9. Spell burst. Add 2 random spells from your class to your hand. The stats are really good. If you're a good class, a class with good spells, it's good. It's a good card. Holt Neophyte. 2 mana, 2/3. Your opponent's spells cost 1 more. It's just a Bloodfin Raptor with slight upside. It's okay. Transfer Student. Transfer Student, I think on average is pretty good. It wasn't in Arena when it got released. But yeah, I think the card is just good most of the time. A Wretched Tutor. 4 mana, 2/5. Spellburst, deal 2 damage to all other minions. That's pretty good. Anything that develops a body and does damage to everything else is pretty good. Yeah, that's a really good card. Better in classes like Mage and stuff, but I think it's really good. Alright, so that is... I think Arena's gonna be insane. I don't know what it's gonna be like. Everything's getting massively stronger. A lot of cool flavor. I think Demon Hunter will be good. I think Druid could be good. I think Mage will... Mage and Rogue, I'm excited for. I think Mage and Rogue will be strong. I think Warrior could be good. Paladin. So the classes I don't think will be as strong. I'm worried about Warlock. Basically, everything else I could see. Maybe Hunter won't be as strong either. But yeah, I'm excited for Arena. I'll actually be playing it again. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. If you enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube. And catch me every day on Twitch at 2 p.m. Central US. But yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye, everyone. Okay. So, give me a second. I need to get this on YouTube.